The studio lights were warm that night, almost forgiving. The familiar blue glow of the backdrop hummed softly as the band wrapped up, and Johnny Carson leaned back in his chair, smiling the way America had trusted for decades. But somewhere behind the curtain, something had already cracked. Nobody watching from their living rooms could feel it yet. Nobody knew that this would be the last time one woman would ever sit across from Johnny Carson again. Her name was Joan Rivers, and what happened next would quietly rewrite late-night television history. Joan Rivers didn't just walk onto The Tonight Show, she stormed into it. Night after night, she brought razor-sharp jokes, fearless punchlines, and a hunger that felt almost dangerous. She wasn't supposed to fit there. A loud New York Jewish woman with no interest in being polite. In the 1960s, and yet, Johnny Carson saw something electric in her. He laughed hard at her jokes. He invited her back. Again and again. For Joan Rivers, this stage wasn't just a career boost. It was oxygen. Backstage, Joan would pace, rewriting lines, whispering jokes under her breath. Her hands shook sometimes, not from fear, but from urgency. She knew what this chair meant. For comedians back then, Carson's approval was a coronation, and Joan earned it. The audience roared. Johnny nodded, and slowly, something deeper formed. Trust, he let her get. He praised her publicly. To millions of viewers, it looked like mentorship, like a passing of the torch. But behind the laughter, there was a question nobody asked out loud. How long could this last? Joan Rivers wanted more than occasional approval. She wanted control. She wanted her own show. And when Fox came calling, in 1986, offering her a late-night program to compete directly with Carson, the decision tore her in half. Take the offer and risk everything, or stay loyal and remain forever in someone else's shadow. She hesitated, she waited, and then, she said yes. What Joan didn't know was that Johnny Carson would hear about it, not from her, not from a private phone call, but from the trade papers. One morning, the headline hit, Joan Rivers, new late-night show, competing network, and in that moment, something inside Carson went cold. Picture Johnny alone in his office, newspaper folded on the desk, no jokes, no audience, just silence. To him, it wasn't business, it was betrayal. Joan tried to call, she left messages, she rehearsed apologies. She told herself she'd explain it face to face, laugh it off like they always did. But the calls were never returned. The door stayed shut. The chair she once owned on that stage became forbidden. Her Fox show launched under brutal pressure. The ratings stumbled. Critics circled. And when the show collapsed, it didn't just end a job, it ended a dream. Joan Rivers found herself exiled from the very world she helped shape. No Tonight Show appearances. No reconciliation. Johnny Carson never spoke to her again. Not once. Years passed. The laughter came back, slowly, painfully. Joan rebuilt herself through stand-up, red carpets, and sheer willpower. She joked about plastic surgery, about failure, about pain. But there was one wound she rarely touched. The silence. The unanswered calls. The empty chair. Near the end of her life, Joan admitted something quietly, almost like a confession. She said losing Johnny Carson wasn't about television. It was personal. It felt like losing a father figure, a protector. And the cruelest part, there was never closure. Johnny Carson retired. The Tonight Show moved on. An era ended without resolution. And when Carson passed away, Joan Rivers watched from afar, carrying words she would never get to say. So what really happened here? Was it ambition punished? Loyalty broken? Or was it two powerful egos colliding in an industry that only makes room for one king? Could a single conversation have changed everything? Or was the ending inevitable the moment Joan dared to want more? Late-night television teaches us to laugh before the silence settles in. But sometimes, behind the jokes, there's a cost. Joan Rivers paid hers in full, and the chair she was never allowed to sit in again still echoes with questions no one ever answered.